Downshifting is a technique you're going to have to learn when coming off any heavy traffic and you're going to have to slow down, or while you're in heavy traffic and you're going to have to slow down during traffic. So, what you're going to have to do when downshifting is, let's say you're going a certain speed that's too quick for traffic, but you have to slow down. Instead of using your brakes, you have the option to downshift into a lower gear. So, let's say I'm on the highway and I'm going about 60 miles per hour, and which is a little bit too fast for the speed, which is a little bit too fast for the highway and the way the flow of traffic is going. So what you're going to have to do is, let's say you want to go down to 50 miles per hour. You have the option of using your brakes, then downshifting, or just purely downshifting. A lot of the times, I like to brake and then downshift, so I can kind of slow down so I can get into the speed I want a little bit quicker. So, or you can just purely let off the gas and just go ahead and you do your downshifting stuff. You're going to slow down either way. Braking will just allow you to downshift quicker. So, when you downshift, there's a couple ways I see people do it. I see people downshift sometimes by simply putting the gear into a low gear. So let's say I was in 5th gear going 60 and I wanted to go into 4th for 50 miles per hour. I would see people just take 5th gear, drop it into 4th while slowly releasing the clutch. You could do that. That kind of damages a little bit. You want to give it a little bit of gas so the gear, so the engine isn't completely like astonished when it's going into a lower gear. Because when you go into lower gear, the RPMs are going to go higher. So you kind of want, when you give it a little rev, you kind of help the engine meet the RPM a little bit quicker. So when I downshift is, I sometimes like to brake just a little bit before, a little brake. I press the clutch in. I would go from 5th gear to 4th gear. Press the gas, while the clutch is pushed in, press the gas, release the clutch a little bit, push the clutch back in, and rev it back a little bit more, and then release the clutch fully. The reason I do it twice is because in my car, I don't have as sensitive a gas pedal, so I have to press a little bit harder each time. So that's how I do it. In my friend's car, I see him downshifting very simply. He would just press the clutch in, and then while he goes to a lower gear, he'd rev it once, and then he released the clutch, which is very similar to rev matching. It's very similar. It's just a little difference, which I'll get into later on in my video. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you with my feet how it looks. So let's say I am going into, let's say I want to downshift, and I'm in 4th gear right here. Let's go ahead and put in 4th. 4th gear. I'm in 4th, actually 5th gear I should say, because I want to downshift from 5th to 4th. Okay, so right here I have my gas, my brake, and my clutch. So we're driving, let's say we're going 60 miles per hour, and I'm like, oh, okay, traffic is slowing down. What am I going to have to do? I take the gear, I put it into 4th, and as I go into, while the clutch is fully pushed down all the way, I give it gas, release the clutch, push the clutch back in, and press the gas again. So like I said, let's say we're in 5th gear, push all the way down, so we have that, and remember, I'm just putting the clutch back in, I put the car into 4th, I give it gas, release the clutch a little bit, and I press the clutch back in, and I give it gas. So it's kind of like a seesaw motion. That's how I do it. Some people like to just do the simple way where they get it to 1 rev. So let's say the car is back in 5th gear with the clutch fully pressed in. Some people will just have the clutch fully pressed in while you're going to 4th gear. You're downshifting, you press the gas, and once you press the gas once, you just release the clutch once. Some people do that. You could do that depending on your car. My car is a little bit difficult to do it in my opinion, but it is very attainable in any kind of car. So next, I thought I'd show you guys how to rev match and how similar it is to downshifting. So now I thought I'd explain to you guys how to rev match. So the difference between rev matching and downshifting is a little subtle difference. When you're downshifting, you're already in a gear and you go to a lower gear. Versus rev matching is when you're kind of in a neutral already and you want to press the gas pedal to match your speed. So what do I mean by matching my speed? So let's say I'm going 25 miles per hour and let's say I go to 30 miles, I'm going 30 miles per hour and there's a stoplight coming up. I'm braking and I put the car in neutral. Okay, well when I thought the light was going to turn red, it actually turned green and everyone's moving and I'm in neutral. So what are you going to have to do? You can't come to a complete stop and then go into 1st gear, because that would mess up your car, or that would slow down traffic. Or if you don't want to, and if you want to put it in 1st gear and start over, you can't do that because you're going a little bit too fast, and you don't ever want to rev match or downshift in the 1st gear. So, what you're going to want to do is, you're going to put the car into the gear you think would be allotted for that speed. So I'm going 25 miles per hour, and I think that second gear would be the best gear. So what I would do is I would press the clutch in, put the car into second, and while I'm in second gear, I would rev the car to where I think the gas would be at, the RPMs would be at. So if I'm going 25 miles per hour and I put it into second, I think that the RPMs would be at 2,500 RPMs. And I'd rev the car to 2,500 RPMs, and once I get to 2,500 RPMs, I would release the clutch, and hopefully, if my judgment was correct, the car and the engine wouldn't jolt, and it'd be a smooth rev match. Knowing where to rev and to what gear to put it in for a rev match just comes with experience and driving every day. So later on, I'm going to show you how to rev match and downshift and just shift regular and everyday driving. So I thought before I'd show you everything combined, I'd show you one of the biggest things of driving a manual car, and that is how to beat hills. So hills are probably one of the most difficult things to do and requires almost the most practice because it is kind of scary at first. So you notice I'm kind of on a little hill. I'm not going to roll back too much, but I'm going to roll back still. As you get better at driving, each hill will get easier and easier, but also they'll get harder and harder. So you just have to develop your skills as you continue driving. It's all about experience. So you notice I'm rolling back. I'm moving. And at first it's kind of scary because one, if there's a car behind you, you might hit it. And two, you might stall if you mess up. And it's kind of embarrassing and you have to turn your car back on, but don't fret. Don't worry about it. It happens. So if you stall, they'll know what's going on, hopefully. So look, right here, I am not moving anywhere, and there's a little hill, and I want to get to that stop sign. So what am I going to do? Imagine I'm in traffic and there's cars behind me. So what you want to do is you're going to have your right foot on the brake, put the car in a gear. I like to prepare myself for gear a little bit earlier than I normally would because one, the hill already takes a little bit of time itself to get ready, and then if I have to put it into gear while waiting, then I might, not be paying attention or I might mess up. So I put the car in gear. And look, I'm going to take my right foot on the brake while keeping my left foot on the clutch. I'm going to roll back. And it's kind of scary. Look, I'm rolling back. Remember, my foot's still on the clutch, but I put the car in gear. I'm rolling back, and it's kind of scary. So in order to beat hills and make them kind of like, I don't know, nothing, is you want to hold the car and you're going to rev it a little bit higher than you normally would. When you start getting better at driving manual, you won't have to rev it as high. You'll start getting better and it'll become a lot easier. So look, I'm going to let off the clutch, but like I said with first gear, you can kind of hold the clutch there a little bit. Hold the clutch at that little catch point, and that is when you can, and when you hear the car start to rev, that's when you can fully release the clutch. Here's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to roll back a little bit, you give the car some gas, you hold it there, and then you let off the clutch completely. You let off the clutch completely. That's exactly how you do it. Let me show you again. So I'm in first gear, I'm going to roll back, I'm going to go ahead and roll back. Now, I have my right foot on the brake, my left foot on the clutch, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to hold that clutch in that spot a little bit, and I'm going to rev it up. Ready? Hold it there, and now I'm moving. Perfect. It's going to wear down your clutch a little bit, but then it's normal, it's completely fine, it's just normal wear and tear. So now I'm going to show you from the outside how it feels, how it's going to look. Alright, so we're moving. Here you go. Rolling back. Okay, so what do you do in that situation? Same thing. Clutch, you're going to let off, we're going to rev it a little bit, look, we stay in place, and then we start moving forward. That's exactly how you do it. And once you get better, hills will get a lot easier. So thanks for watching, guys. Next video, I hope to show you everything combined: hills, downshifting, rev matching, and maybe even some heavy city traffic on the highway, which is kind of annoying in a manual car. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.